Good morning. This is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please press the like button and subscribe. And good morning. About a guy called Sean Connery, James Bond, 007, as a young kid. Takes some, yeah, seriously, yeah. I used to live in a place called Acton, opposite a place called Acton Park, a big, massive park, yeah, Churchville Road. And I've been sexually abused as a child. I'm now about 8, 9, and I had lots of friends around me, good mates, and we used to play over the park all the time, cause murders. We used to fight old men and nick their money and all this as kids, because all the sexual abusers I went through, we just got mad and bash up these old boys, nick all their money out their wallets and their purses and all that, because there was predators anyway, sitting on chairs and all that. And anyway, I had a dog called Girly. I used to take Girly over the park quite a lot, yeah. And a few times I used to meet this big Alsatian, massive Alsatian. It frightened the life out of me. But it wasn't that bad. It was a bit vicious, but it wasn't that bad because of my dog, yeah, Girly, yeah. And he'd be playing with Girly, and I'd be like chucking bits of wood and bits and pieces, and be coming it, bringing it back to me and all that. I made friends with it, yeah. I would just take little bits of food, didn't take much, but little bits here and there, and give it food, and become a right friend of mine, the dog. I loved it, yeah. And my mates, all my pals, used to go over there with me, used to play football, and it was like, I loved it, you know what I mean? The park was my life. We used to get a thing called a trolley, make a thing called a trolley, like 4 wheels and a plank, and go down the hills. Everybody had a trolley, and we had one of the worst trolleys going, 4 pram wheels, bit fast, really, really fast, go down the hills and try and steer it all around the way. And a couple of times I've come up, hit my head on the fence, cut my head. But as kids, that's what you're doing it, you know what I mean? Who cares, you know what I mean? It's one of them things, Anyway, this particular day, I'm over the park with my mates, and I see Harry. By the way, the Alsatian's called Harry. And I see Harry, and I'm sort of shouting to Harry. He comes over, and I'm stroking him, and all this, he's wagging his tails. All that a bit. I've not got my dog Girly with me, and he's sort of like, yeah, he's over me, and I'm loving him and chucking him wood and everything. And I see this guy in the green, in this massive big green over the park, with my mates. Hitting golf, playing golf, hitting balls everywhere that was going all over the gaff, yeah. And the dog, Harry, sort of like walked over to him and he was stroking it and this, that, and the other. And I walked over with him with a few of my mates and was stroking the dog. I went, okay, how are you? And I was talking to him and he said, oh, all right, boys, what are you up to? I said, well, we come over here, playing. I said, Harry loves me. He's a good friend of mine, Harry. He's always around my dog, Girly. He went, okay. He said, look, what are you up to now? I said, well, we're just running around the park, playing a bit of football, playing dirt fights and things like that, yeah. He said, do you want to earn some money? So, it was a bit offish someone saying that to me. So I said, no, it's okay. And I ran away, and I ran off with my mates, and that was it, yeah. And I got in my house, and I said to my mum, look, mum, my mum was, since me being molested and all that, and sexually abused, my mum's really funny with me, yeah. She doesn't like me to sort of go out of the house for long, and always wants me to take Girly out with me, the dog, and sometimes I don't. She gets upset, and I go there and I talk to my mum. I said, Mum, there was a man over the park. I play with his dog, Harry, and I said, this man's playing golf, yeah, and hitting the golf balls, and I went to talk to him because Harry was next to him. It's his dog, yeah. And I said, she said, listen, I told you not to talk to strange men. I said, no, Mum, he's like Harry's his dog, yeah. My mum said, no, don't get talking to him, yeah. As easy as that, Mum. He said, do I want to earn some money? My mum said, do what? Do you want to earn some money? Where is he? My mum went crazy, yeah. And she rushed over the park, really stormed over the park, crashed, mad, and he wasn't about. And I said, look, he plays golf here, Mum, and he's hitting the balls and this, that, and the other. All of a sudden, Harry come out, the dog, and Harry doesn't know my mum as such, he's like a bit funny. My mum's standing really, really still, and I start stroking Harry, this, that, and the other, and Harry loves it, and he's wiggling his tail, and all of a sudden, this guy comes out and walks over to me. My mum starts questioning him, going mad. Don't you try my son? You know, you're going to pay him money. What are you? What are you? My son's been sexually abused. You know, she said, look, he said, look, he said, my name's Connery. And my mum said, Connery. My mum, all of a sudden, it clicked in my mum's nut. You know, because my mum worked in the cinema, yeah? My mum watching the cinema, walking up and down the aisle with ice cream, you know? Ice creams and choc ices and all them sorts of things, yeah? And obviously so, she sees it on the screen. Connery, 007. I think one of the first ones he'd done was 1966 or something like that, I'm not quite sure. 64, 60, I'm not quite sure, in the 60s, I'm not quite sure, early times. And she went, oh, how'd you do? My name is Doris. This is my son Raymond. I don't like him talking to men because he was sexually abused as a young child, and I'm a bit funny about that. But he said, look, he said, I see him playing with the dog. He's always with his mates, and he said, and I like him, you know, and I'd like to help if I can. I'm not a paedophile. Actually, paedophiles wasn't about him. I'm not a sexual abuser. So he didn't really know paedophiles as such then, yeah. He said, I'm not a sexual abuser, I love kids, yeah. And he said, look, he said, I play golf over here quite a lot. He said, no, I hit the balls, whack the balls over the gaff. He said, no, you know, I asked him and his friends if they'd like to earn a little bit of money. So I picked the balls up for me, I'll pay them for it. Oh, she said, oh, that's lovely. She said, look, I apologise. And my mum went off and with me and got indoors. My mum said, listen, I don't mind you going over the park, you know, picking up the balls, getting a bit of money, you know. My mum had no money, my mum was poor anyway. So that little bit of money that I got, I'd give her some money out of it anyway. And then I'd go with Doris's across the road and spend it on my sweets, because Doris had a sweet shop. And my mum used to always put footprints or half a penny in there or a penny in there for us to get sweets. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, does it? But it wasn't really. But in them days, you could buy quite a bit with footprints or half a penny or a penny. Anyway, but if you got sixpence or a shilling, I mean, you was a millionaire, yeah? So anyway, I'd go over the park with Girlie and Harry would be around the dog and this, that, and the other. One day, particular day, Harry, I didn't know what was going on. Harry mounted my dog, mounted my Girlie, and it became quite hard for me to get them apart, yeah? And I thought, oh my God, what? And it's like stuck together. And I couldn't believe it, yeah? I went, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, and all of a sudden, seeing Connery come rushing out of the house and he separated them and he said, look, he said, I really am sorry. And, you know, he said, any problems, if your dog is having puppies, come and see me. You know, I just left it at that, you know. I said, went back to my mum and told my mum what happened. My mum was going mad, you know. She went, oh, we don't need puppies and all that. Oh my God, you know. Anyway, just left it at that, really. And I'd see Harry and I'd take Girlie over the park and they'd play around. You know, Harry was kept trying to get hold of it. I'd get, well, shushing Harry away and all this, that, and the other. Then I see him playing golf again. And I was with a couple of my mates, and the dog wasn't around. It was just like me and my mates, and he's hitting the balls over the gaff. And he said, "Look, every time you come over here, right, I'm here, and if I'm playing golf, and I said I'd like someone to go and pick the balls up because I'm wasting loads of balls, I will pay you X amount. Like I think he came to 2 shillings in the end, but." You know, but it worked out, you know, sometimes we get sixpence or something like that, or a shilling to pick up balls. Every ball we picked up, we get a shilling or sixpence, you know. And sometimes it come to 2 shillings each, and 2 shillings is a lot of money as kids, yeah. And there was 4 or 5 of us, and we'd run around picking the balls up and this, that, and the other. And it was James Bond, you know, CONNERY, James Bond, 007, you know, and we couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? My mum told me all about it, and I thought, oh my God. You know, that's James Bond, you know, like as kids, everyone wants it as kids, you know what I mean? You're so happy as kids to see the James Bond, you know, 007. And anyway, so later on, we keep picking the balls up for the kids and this, that, for James Bond with my mates and this, that, and the other. And it became okay. And my dog is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and she had puppies. And I see him over the park one day, and he was playing golf. And we went to pick the balls up, and I went to him and said, "Look, um, Girlie's had puppies from your Harry, from your dog Harry, and and if you need, would you like one of the puppies?" So he went, no. But he said, "I'll come and see your mum." So he come walking through the park with James Bond. James, seeing Connery, James walking through the park with me, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And I'm about 8, and he's a film star, you know what I mean? You can't believe it, yeah? And he went to see my mum. My mum's home was clean, but it had nothing spectacular, hardly any furniture there at all, but lying on the floor. And she invited him in, but he just talked to my mum on the doorstep. He said, "Look," he said, "yeah, I'll take that. You give my mum some money." I don't know what he give my mum. He gave my mum some money, but I remember it was paper money, and it looked like 10 shillings and a pound and pounds, pound notes, 10 shilling notes and pound notes was a lot of money, you know. Some people are only getting 30 shillings a week, wages, you know. Anyway, so my mum was not crying, and because money in them days was hard to come by, and she was poor. My mum, she worked 4 or 5 jobs a day, and it was half my poor mum. You know what I mean? So my mum started crying. Obviously, they were leaving, and my mum crying. He'd give her more money, as if like she must have been crying because she's not enough. He'd give her more and said, look after the puppies. I'll come over now and again and give you more money so you haven't got to suffer with the puppies and this, that, and the other." So he did, yeah. But we kept going over the park. He was such a nice nice man. He loved us kids, you know. And we was always, anyway, one day, me and my mate see him go out in his car, yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know it's a Rolls Royce, but in them days, all it is a big car with his emblem on the front. You know, his emblem on the front because you should see it. This woman on the front of the car, and I didn't know what kind of car it was, but obviously I know what it is now. And the car's outside, and we see him get in the car with this blonde woman and drive away. And anyway, and we've always wanted to get in the house, you know, and have a look round. You know, as kids, you do, you know what I mean? It's voice like, we don't know nothing about burglary. We're not burglars, we just want to go and have a look. So we jumped over the garden at the wall. The wall was quite high. We jumped over the garden, all of us, 4 of us. And he had these big windows, massive windows, yeah. And we pushed them one open up. And Harry, the dog, whoa, he's like going like a lunatic. And all of a sudden, he's like seen us. He come over, wagging his tail, you know, and we were stroking him and this, that, and the other, because he knew us, you know what I mean? He was really happy. He was wagging it, and we were walking around the house. And we went upstairs. There was all these big pictures on the wall of naked women, half naked women on the wall. We couldn't believe it, yeah. As kids, you see that, you're like, hold on, look at this, it's crazy. And the house is an absolutely fantastic house, so beautiful, pictures everywhere of him with other people, and it was so, I mean, just crazy, man, to think, you know, people live like that. And it was a big house across the park. As you go through the gate, there's a massive place there, really big, right on the park here. Anyway, so we started running around the house looking, and we got in his bedroom. I told you this big picture walking about. We noticed in his cupboard, yeah, he had 2 big guns in there, yeah, 2 big guns, like shotguns. I went, oh my God, guns! I've never seen. It's a shotgun. I've never seen a shotgun in my life before, you know. Only on television. We had a little telly about 6 inches, 6 inches, the little screen. My mum we used to turn it on by a screwdriver, and crazy. And he had a big television in there, and everything, and all these naked women on the walls, and his house is absolutely beautiful. And we see these guns in his cabinet. We know it's a cabinet now, but at that time to us it was just a cupboard. You know, it was a cabinet, and open his cabinet, we see all these guns in there and all these cartridges and bits and pieces. And, you know, we better get out of the house now. We got out of the house, shut the window, and climbed out and got away, yeah, went away. And went to my mum's house, back to my mum's, took the dog over the park a couple of times, and met, seen Connery a few times over the park, and, you know, picking the golf balls up, getting money from my mum getting money from Sean Connery for the dogs. My mum, it was happy, I was happy, everyone was happy, yeah. And so one day my cousin, Roger, Adam Faith. It was my brother, my cousin, Joey Nellums, his name was. It was my mum's sister, Nell. Adam Faith is a famous singer, actor. Adam Faith, anybody knows, he's my cousin, my first cousin. And he came over my house to see my mum with Nell and Christine, one of the sisters, Pam, and Roger, the brother. Roger's brother was like me. I mean, later on in life, yeah, he become. Roger was a bit older than me, 4 or 5 years older than me, but a bit of a bad boy, yeah. And what the most silliest thing we ever did was tell him about the guns. And he went mad. Show me. I said, no, you can't. Anyway, we plotted and schemed and waited, and we see him go out again with this woman in the car. So we got in for the back, me, Roger, and a couple of us run up and showing that, the dog was really funny with Roger because he doesn't know Roger. We had to put the dog downstairs, their basement. I had to put the dog downstairs. And when we was going to leave, I was going to let the dog up, yeah? Well, we went upstairs with the guns, and Roger took these 2 guns, and I think it was Holland and Holland, or Purdy and Purdy's guns were a lot of money, male and female gun. He took them, yeah? And Roger cut the barrels out off a sawn-off shotguns, yeah. And anyway, later on, obviously, Sean Connery's come back to the house, realised that he's been burgled and gone mad. Police are everywhere, going crazy. Now, me and my friends were shitting ourselves. We're really, really frightened. What happens if we get captured or caught for it, yeah? So anyway, nothing happened, and we just left it at that. And then we went over to the park, and he's playing golf. And we said, "Can we pick the balls up?" He didn't want to even talk to us. He said, "No, it's okay. I'll do it myself." I had a rough idea. He thought it must have had something to do with us because the dog never attacked anybody. There wasn't no blood around that place, and who else would be able to do it but us who knew the dog. So he didn't trust us. You could see there was no trust there, and we lost it. So for us doing what we didn't get nothing out of it. We're just kids, young kids, 8 to 10, and going mad, But this guy was James Bond, Sean Connery. It's mad, you know what I mean? And it's like, and about 4 5 weeks ago, I drove down there with my mate, and like to see the house. He's no longer there; he's dead. But to see the house and the memories it brought back. I walked in the park, looked at the wall we climbed over. There's now a bit of a fence on it as well. And you look at the place, and the windows have changed. It's like, and it's just a memory, a big memory. And then I walked through the park, and the park didn't seem that long. It seemed a short little park to where we used to live up the path. But when you were kids, that walk seems like a mile away. It seems like forever to get there. There was a big thing in the paper about the guns being worth loads and loads of money in them days. So what they was worth, I don't know. Anyway, there was, my mum was a bit funny about it. She read it in the Acting Gazette, a paper called the Acting Gazette. The East Barrett House had been burgled, and this, that, and the other. My mum looked at me funny and asked me lots of questions, and this, that, and the other. And as a kid, you don't say, you just keep, well, Mum, I don't know nothing to fight. You're petrified. Mum finds out you're going to get killed. Mum's going to bash you up. You're going to get mashed up by Mum, you know what I mean? Who wants to get mashed up by Mum? No one, you know what I mean? So denies, Roger never gave us nothing for the guns. It was out of order. We shouldn't have done it. We lost everything. We lost money for picking the balls up. Mum lost money for the dogs, and it was mad for what we've done, but that's how life is. Sometimes you do silly things and get nothing out of it, and what happens, that's what happens. Your life goes the other way, yeah? So anyway, this is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please press the like button, subscribe, and good morning, yeah? Nice one, thank you.